Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations.
What's up, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? It's your man, LarryWBrooks, a.k.a. the Texas Real Estate King. Hey, when you get a moment, go ahead and go over to shoplwb.com. You can see the Pure Hustle merchandise that we have over there, some of our newer items that we have in stock, and of course, I got all the books that I've authored. I'd love for your support. You have a great day.
Good day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, feel free to reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here this week with you, just like it is every week here on the Prime Real Estate Network. And I want to thank everyone in the audience for getting involved and tapping in with us this week. I want to take a little time to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, and the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand. I want to thank him for sitting in with us this week, just like he does every week here on the show. I'd like to introduce the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. LarryWBrooks. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing amazing, Ric, man. Good to see you again. Good to be in the studio with everyone, or good to be in our platform of a studio with everyone again today, man.
Hey, man, it's good to see you, brother, man. It's great. The summertime, man, business is hot and heavy. Everything is going on, man. So for our audience, man, how has your week been? What's been going on business-wise in the world of the Texas Real Estate King?
Things been good, man. You know, here in Houston, one of the biggest holidays from the neighborhood that I grew up in, or really now the city-wide, is June 27th. So that was an amazing celebration of just brand where our music industry here in Houston has came from. So I had an opportunity to attend the June 27th concert. Shout out to my guy Cazeau. He did an amazing job at helping me get into that thing. And then you know, man, yesterday I had a chance to go by. Bun B was doing something with a tequila brand as well as Trill Burgers, and so they had a private event where they invited out some influencers, some people in the community that kind of make things shake. And so had an opportunity to sit in there, listen to that presentation, and really see some friends that move and shake and create the events that take place here in the city. So it was a good environment, good thing to be a part of on yesterday. So it's been good.
You know, always we talk about how relationship currency can be your greatest benefit, especially as an entrepreneur and a business owner. So it's always exciting to hear about how many events are going on here in the greater Houston area all throughout the work week, and how you don't necessarily have to wait till the weekend to get out and get active. So that's one of the great things I want to urge everyone here to tap in, follow you on social media, follow the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube, and stay at the head of what's going on and how to stay active from that networking perspective. You know, the great thing about today's guest is that she's going to shed some light on the commercial real estate space in a way that I think our audience will really benefit from. So could you share with our audience how you were able to meet this week's guest and how you were going about getting her to commit to sitting in with us for an interview?
Yeah, man. So I've this week's guest, man, I found her on social media and noticed that she was in the real estate industry and was doing big things. I'd seen her share the stage or share the platform with past real estate alumni of the Prime Real Estate Network, like Eja Johnson, and seen her on the stage with her at some events that was taking place, man. And I just started following and just watched how she had started building her business, the connections that she was making. And so I had an opportunity to reach out to her. We were finally able to get onto a calendar, very busy. And so just having her today, I'm excited. I'm excited about the things that she can share with our audience, as well as the people that we can tap into and to help grow her business as well, man. So I'm just excited that she accepted the offer and she's here with us today.
Hey man, I want to thank you so much for reaching out to her. I want to thank her in that. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce this week's guest.
Yep.
This fine lady is not only a highly successful commercial realtor, she's a brand builder. She is an entrepreneur. And I want to thank her so much because having her on the show this week has been a highlight of everything we've been doing this season. And I'd like to introduce the Boston real estate queen, Ms. Judy Cazeau. How are you?
Hello, hello. Hi,
How are
everyone.
you, Judy?
Rick.
Thank you so much for sitting in. Thank you. Thank you so much. First thing, Judy, because there are members of our audience who practice real estate, are real estate business owners, entrepreneurs, but aren't as versed in aspects of commercial real estate. So could you not only introduce yourself, but also talk a little bit about what you do in the commercial real estate sphere?
Okay. Yeah. All right. My name is Judy Cazeau. I specialize in commercial real estate here in Boston, primarily doing a lot of
Mm.
retail leasing. I advise many of my clients, helping them with finding and securing commercial retail spaces and also landlords to better attract high quality tenants. So, yeah, that's what I do. And then the commercial real estate world. I mean, there's so much, so many things, so many avenues, so many paths within the industry. It was just an industry that excited me. I've always wanted to learn more about it. I always had friends who were in real estate. They did residential, and I just would always ask, why not commercial? Why not? What's going on there? And so I decided to kind of get myself involved, and it's just been going up from there, to be honest. Yeah.
Now, Judy, when you first got in the industry, did you get in through the commercial side immediately, or did you start off in residential?
I've never sold a house. I've never
Okay.
did anything residential. The only thing I might have done when I first started out was maybe help out open houses for some of the other realtors that may have
Oh,
had
okay,
need some
right.
assistance.
Wow.
Um, I'm a people person, so it was nothing on a Saturday. I brought my daughter with me. But that's as close as I've ever had anything to do with residential. I've only participated in commercial real estate transactions.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, Judy, I want to thank you so much for sharing some of the aspects of your business because here locally, especially Larry and myself, as we've had our real estate practice and our real estate career has been going for so long, we've met so many business owners that started off maybe with as a barber in one person's barbershop, or may have been a hair designer in someone else's time. They built their business, built their brand, built their clientele, and now they're ready to someone like yourself about potentially getting involved in getting a retail space, opening up their brand, opening up their own thing. Is there any advice that you could give to someone who's considering taking that plunge and investing in commercial real estate from a retail perspective? Is there any advice that you have as far as when they'll know they're ready to reach out to someone like you and get that process started?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I work with a few startups right now. Um, some of the things that I would definitely advise is to do your research, really understand your own business. Just because, you're baking cakes, in your grandma's, kitchen or in your own apartment, you really want to factor in the numbers. Um, Understand that paying your lease, your rent a month is definitely different than just paying your other expenses. And so it would really be crunching your numbers, understanding, is it, you might be baking, maybe 10 cakes a day, but can you push out 10 or 100 cakes a week, to
Mhm.
keep the doors open of your business? So it's really getting yourself in position to understand your numbers and doing the research, understanding the location for where you want your business to be. Will it be a storefront where you'll actually have customers come in and sit down, or Will it be something where you're just producing your product and then, being able to ship it out? Just really having a business plan, understanding the nature of your business, understanding the geography, where the location needs to be, the square footage, how big of a space or small of a space do you need, things like that. And also understanding the budget, because in real estate, you have things called like the triple net leases, these expenses outside of, just paying your base rent. There are so many different, leases. There's the ground lease, there's the percentage leases. And that's where you would want to have someone such as myself, a professional who specializes in commercial leasing, to be able to assist you and guide you to make sure that you're not getting played, because you want to make sure that you have someone who is going to have your best interest at heart and represent you, because my fiduciary duty is to my client. So if I'm representing the landlord, I'm going to help him get the best deal suitable for his business, because that's his building, right? But if you're my client and I'm on the tenant side, my fiduciary duty is to my client to ensure that they are negotiating for their business, so they can focus on their business, and I help them find the best fits for their company. So,
Judy, quick question. So one of the thoughts that I always have, and I think that sometimes new tenants or people that have never had commercial space before, is usually a challenge for them. If there's who do you recommend would need something like retail space where they got a storefront versus someone that would just need a lease inside of an office building, right? Like, one of the things I remember when I was first getting started in real estate, what jumped out to me, I was gun-ho about, I need my firm to be in a retail space area so my sign can be seen. But do people really walk into real estate companies randomly off the street as often as they would do like a Pizza Hut or a cooking shop or something like that? What's usually your thoughts when it comes to something like that?
I really think it matters on the nature of your business and your plan. Some of the things that I'm seeing now, that especially in the retail world, it's quite interesting, because you'll have a medical practice do retail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have cosmetologists who are more in the office setting or office buildings, because they're taking commercial buildings and they're converting them into like maybe salon suites, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you're having content creation buildings, right, where you have multiple studios, a photographer, a hairstylist, podcast, what have you. That could also be in one of those buildings. That would be listed as like an office building. But I think when it comes, just to kind of answer your question, I mean, I've seen real estate offices. I actually know one of my friends, he's a broker. He's a luxury broker, and he is in a retail storefront somewhere, in South Boston, and it just works for his business.
Yeah.
He wanted to be in that area. He wanted like a cool, vibey type of business setting where he can have social hours. He can bring in his clients. He can have, different types of like events there, because that was his business model.
That makes sense.
Yeah, then you have others who need to have the office setting where it is in a building, enclosed, maybe a little more quieter in the hallways, type of thing. So I think it's just really, what is your plan? What does your business plan consist of? And what is your vision for your business? Because there's no one way to do it. And it also depends on where you're going to be and the zoning and permitting that goes into actually opening up your business. So there's some businesses that aren't zoned to be in a particular building. Like, for instance, right now I have a doggy daycare, and they're looking to be in more of the industrial / flex retail. And it's a little challenging because the areas in which they're looking to be in the city doesn't actually zone it for animal type use, right?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot, but like I said, again, that's why it's important to have a professional, someone who actually specializes in that, so she can go and continue to focus on her business while I'm doing the work of truly doing the research, finding the areas, locations in which would be suitable for her business. It just pays off to have that.
I agree. I totally agree.
I thank you so much for being so transparent, Judy, because your story, I think, would resonate with so many members of our audience. And one of the things that you spoke about that caught my ear was how you never really dabbled in residential. Everything for you, real estate wise, has been commercial. How does one find a commercial real estate mentor? Do you join a professional network? How does someone like yourself that's new in a commercial space, how do you commune and network with like-minded professionals and learn some best practices and how to get the ball rolling? Because residentially, Larry and I, we go through this with new agents, people who are newly licensed, and we can give them advice on how to get active from that perspective. But in the commercial space in Boston, how were you able to get your feet wet and get out there initially?
That's an interesting question. I am someone, I can see opportunity, but if it's not there, I'll go and create it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I just, I, I, I'm not sitting down. I'm not waiting. When I first started, I knew that I need mentorship.
Yeah.
Um, I went online. When I got my license back in 2020 during the pandemic when the world shut down.
Yeah.
That's when I decided that I was going to plunge in. I got on Facebook. I was on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm heavy on LinkedIn. And I just knew I was okay with knowing that I may not have a mentor that I would speak to face, on the phone, or virtually, whatever. I knew that I was okay with just finding people in the industry
Yeah.
and using them as a mentor from afar.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when I first signed up, when I first got my license and got hung my license with a company. There was a commercial firm. I just stuck close with the guys over there. I was the only female on the team at the time, and I learned a lot as well. Just kind of cold calling. I wasn't new to business, but I was new to commercial real estate, right? So I knew
Okay.
some of the things that I needed to do. Um, I would also go on Eventbrite. I'm heavy in networking, so I would type all types of things that were pertaining to commercial real estate. Um, and then there was a point where I just became interested, or I was looking for women or people rather who just looked like me that were in the industry. And I think I typed in like Black woman commercial realtor or something like that.
Yeah.
And funny enough, Tiffany Ryland, who is
Cool
in,
tip. Yeah,
yeah.
Yes,
she's an
absolutely.
alumni of the show. She's been on before as
Oh
well.
my God. So I've never met her in person, but like I truly just she did it for me.
Yeah.
Um I had a speaking engagement that I was gonna be on, and I just remember typing that up, and she came up first on my YouTube, and I just became obsessed. I was like, oh well, she may not know it, she was my mentor from afar because I just started. Um yeah, and I just was like, wow, she's dope, just followed everything. I followed her on all platforms. Um, I started connecting with other women across the country. I joined an online Facebook group, Women in Commercial Real Estate. It's ran by a woman who specializes in public relations for all things real estate. And yeah, I would connect with other women in commercial real estate of other professions, whether it was law, property management, um, everything you can think of. And I remember just meeting more women, more diverse women. And yeah, I remember talking about Tiffany Rowland to anybody that I could, that I met who also were new. And so we
Yeah.
just started like following her, and she just kind of became like my mentor from afar.
Yeah.
I just love how well poised she is. I love how she just really knows her stuff. I love how she just spoke so well about the industry, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be like her,
Yeah.
because she's dope. She's a Black woman. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm also into fitness, and I saw that she had a background in, like, I think she was like a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And she was very transparent in her story about her, losing her mom.
Yeah.
My mom is currently sick right now, so there was just a lot to her that I was just kind of like, wow, I just really connected with her. And I think if you're someone who's new in the industry, getting trapped up and feeling like you have to have a mentor
Yeah.
that's like side by side with you, I think you can also learn from people from afar. And
Yeah.
she was just someone to me that I just like was like inspired by. Um, yeah, I love that. And she just I'm pretty tenacious, and I just feel like, wow, like there was a lot of similarities. And yeah, that was just pretty much really it. So I'm just, giving her flowers and shouting her out because she really was the first person for
Yeah.
me who looked like me, who was in the industry.
Yeah.
And it just let me know that there was more out there. And I just, just kind of went down a rabbit hole, and I just found other women online,
Yeah.
Instagram. And, I joined Crew, Commercial Real Estate for Women.
Yeah.
And I just met other women in the industry, other people in the industry, and they just served me as mentors, nearby, close, afar. And yeah,
Yeah.
that was just really it. That's my advice, is just, you can go online and you can just follow someone who resonates with you. And yeah, when you hear them speak, act like they're talking just to you. So if I heard her say something, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go, follow that. So yeah, that's a long answer on how I was able to kind of find my mentorship. And then it brought me into other avenues to meet other people who are in my city and my town who
Yeah.
do what I do. May not look like me, but it was definitely something that helped me, and they helped me get into the doors as well. So
Yeah, nah, that's a great answer, Judy, and that gives us even more excitement because we take pride in making sure that we're bringing the right people onto the platform, and just someone's going to hear your story and is going to give you your flowers one day too, as well. I'm sure, because I'm excited because I've been to Boston quite a few times, and there's not a lot of people that look like us that's in this industry and doing the things that they need to. It's not the numbers that we need, and so just knowing that you're in Boston and you got into the commercial area of real estate, that is so amazing to me because in the down south, it's always been a good old boys club, right? Like you literally have got to have been tutored by someone that already had the connections, and just to see that you're doing it, that was your first line of real estate was in the commercial space. I commend you for that. Just so definitely keep rocking and rolling with it.
oh, thank you.
Your
Oh, Rick, I
volume,
think you're on mute, sir.
you got to cut your volume, unmute yourself.
Now, I want to ask you, Judy, because this is something that we discussed a little bit before we started streaming, but I want to make sure the audience can get an answer from you for this question. What did you do before real estate, and what was the tipping point? What was it about real estate that motivated you to transition from what you were doing? And how fulfilling has it been to not only be a real estate practitioner, but to also build your own brand and have something that's going to be long standing?
That's a great, like, long question. So as an entrepreneur, right, it kind of makes sense. I did a lot of different things. I'm someone who just I have a lot of interest, and I'm very curious. I stay curious. At some point, I was actually aspiring to be a dentist, and that wasn't going the way I wanted to go. Having to go back to school and all that. But
Mhm.
through that time, I actually became a social worker, and I worked for the state, the Commonwealth of Mass, as a social worker in a homeless shelter. And
Mm.
during that time, one of good friends of mine was doing a multi-level marketing company, and I got involved as well. And um, that was my first real, I guess, experience with business and
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, and you know, having to, go through the no's and go through the rejection and go through all the trials and
Mhm.
tribulations that you go through in business.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really built the stamina, I guess, to kind of go out into this world. And being an entrepreneur is tough, because you don't know when you're next. You pretty much eat what you kill. And
Yeah.
I kind of strengthened that muscle.
Yeah.
I ended up leaving the state, because the shelter got closed.
Mm.
um, and just kind of did that full throttle. And through that time, I developed my company, in energy, and I was doing solar, and did that for quite some time. Kind of just took a lot of what I was doing in the network marketing world and implemented that. And I don't know, I just always had an interest in real estate. My father is a landlord. We own property. And so I just
Right.
always kind of wondered why we didn't do more, knowing that my parents came here from another country, Haiti. And I just always wanted to learn more about how, I used to always say, I'm like, having this property is like being a farmer, and you have kids, and your kids don't know how to uh,
Yeah.
milk the cow, or go get
Right.
the eggs out the hen house, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, I want to learn how to maintain this farm because, I may want to get more cattle. I want to start growing some things, and so I decided to get my license. And then that was the year of the pandemic. And I've just always had an interest in the commercial world because through that time when I would look at energy, it was interesting because, energy to me mimicked real estate.
Wow.
Because I remember I had an opportunity to help this guy. He's a farmer, funny enough, and he owns some land, and he wanted to put solar panels as a solar farm. And we developed, he owned about close to 200 acres that he got out here. And he wanted to develop a solar farm, and it was about 15 to 20 acres of land. It was my first time doing something like that. And when he was kind of walking me through the process of like how he got the land and all that, I was like, wow, this really is the same process as solar. I was like, man, I want to get into commercial because I've always questioned friends that I had, why don't they ever get into the commercial side? And they would just kind of say, it's a long process. It's too many things to learn or whatever it may be. And residential was just a little bit more, quicker for them. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, I got into that, and I just got into commercial. I went straight to it, and it was funny because once I made the announcement on social media that this is what I was doing, I remember I had so many friends hit me up and say, Judy, this is you. Like, this is you. I have to say, I've tried a lot of different things, but I can say that commercial real estate has been something that I truly, honestly love. It is my personality. I love to be outside. I like to learn more about other individual businesses. And I really love being like that advocate, that person to really help you kind of take where your business is to where it can go. And what I love most about commercial real estate is just how it's so big. There's not just one way of doing the business. There's so many avenues that you can go into. And I don't know if I answered your question or if I went off a tangent, but
no, you did so much. You did so much great information that I'm sure you're inspiring members of our audience. And that's why I want to follow up, because normally Larry and I like to ask all of our business owners who served as a mentor or inspiration for them in regards to their family. But you mentioned your dad being a investor, being a landlord, having property. So from that standpoint, we have an idea of where your first introduction to real estate came. But do you have any advice for young women who have an interest in real estate but may be a bit intimidated by the commercial space? For whatever reason, it may seem daunting. The numbers may seem a lot different than residential. So as someone who's on the inside, who had to step out on faith, do you have any tidbits or any motivational words for someone who might be in that similar position that you were once in?
Man, just do it. I mean, like, I know that's the cliche thing to say, Nike, just do it, but it's just, I mean, my only regret, to be honest, is that I just didn't start sooner. I just wish I started sooner. I'm 36 years old. When I first got into entrepreneurship, it was over 10 years ago. I was 24, 25. I had my daughter at 25. She's now 12. And so, just to sit where I'm at today and to meet the people that I've met in this industry, many of them started when they were like 22, 24, and they're my age now, and they are in 10 plus years in the game. And I already know I was built for this, like I'm not, I'll do it scared. That's what I would say. Do it scared, do it nervous, play with the butterflies in your tummy. It just is what it is, because you don't want to look back at, 10 years later and say, man, I really wish I would have gotten started then. Or I really wish, or I wonder what life could have been like XYZ. For me, it was a learning curve coming into this industry, because I did feel like I was a little behind. I felt like, man, everyone else is, coming into the game and they're a little younger than I am, or they've been here for so long, and here I am. I'm still young, but like still feeling like.
Yes, you are still young. What you saying? I'm thinking to myself, like, you are so young. Believe it or not, real estate.
You know what it is? Yeah, but the thing is, like I was sharing with Rick, I'm now with a commercial, like an actual commercial global firm, right? So I transitioned from a smaller real estate firm and got into this firm, and I'm actually employed in like I work for them, right? And so, you know, coming into these big boy firms and going to these meetings, the reason why I knew I had to align myself in this, in this arena with, these firms was due to the fact that I really wanted to understand how these transactions were happening. I wanted to be in the rooms and know what's happening in my city, regionally, globally, whatever. So I got aligned with them because I know I'm a go-getter. I'm a go-get it. So if I'm going to give advice to, a young person, young woman, man, whatever, yeah, just go for it. Go do it. I hate FOMO, the fear, no, fear missing, oh, fear of loss, right? That's what it is.
Mhm.
Fear of loss. That's what we learned. And I don't ever want to regret, not the worst feeling for me is just second guessing myself. I that's the only time I get angry with me is when I knew I should have did something and I didn't do it because I second guessed myself. And then I look
Mhm.
back at it like, damn, so that's what I can leave behind as advice. Just go get it. You had this vision for a reason. I'm a believer. So I'm a visionary. I look at my vision board every day. Uh, so it's like, you were given this vision, you had that dream for a reason. Just go for it, attack it, execute, and do it unapologetically. It will be scary, trials, tribulations, it happens. Life will life you.
Mhm.
Um, People will die, people will, get sick. People are going to get married, babies are being born. Life
Yeah.
will continue to life.
Yeah.
It'll do what it
Life
does.
moves. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, just you don't want to look 10 years down, 20 years down, 50 years down, and just wonder what life could have been like if you had just taken a chance on yourself.
That's right.
Man, that's so powerful, Judy. I want to thank you so much for your transparency. I'm sure Larry would agree. If you ever find yourself in Houston for any real estate function, any real estate event, great convention, or anything like that, please let us know. We would
I'm coming
love to
back.
continue this conversation with you again
Texas,
in
hey,
person. We would love to continue this conversation with you because you bring up so many thoughts and so many aspects of not only the business but also the personal that goes along with building the business that I'm sure members of our audience would love to hear from you again. So anytime you would like to sit in with us, you always have a seat with Larry here and myself.
Hey,
Anytime you have an event, anything that you would like for us to spotlight or bring attention to, definitely please let us know, Queen, because we appreciate you. We appreciate everything you're doing, and we definitely appreciate you for carving some time to sit down with Larry and myself. So thank you so much.
thank you,
thank you
Judy.
guys. Babe, come to Boston sometime too. Come hang out with me in Boston.
Hey, I
We're gonna have a
like
good
Boston.
time.
I'm gonna pull up in Boston. Most definitely. I like Boston.
Say summertime Boston. We can do
Hey,
Summertime
summertime.
Boston.
No.
Fall time Boston's not bad either.
I like some. Listen, I've been to a Celtics game at the arena out there in Boston before. I had a great time. Hmm.
Green's my favorite color, so
Oh
No
we can make it
doubt.
happen.
No doubt. No doubt. Thank you so much, Judy. Until next time, Queen. Thank you so much and be blessed.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Lee Brooks, man, I forget that you've been to Boston a couple of times and know your
yeah,
way around the Northeast, brother. I
I
forgot
do.
that you
I
got it.
do.
You know what I'm saying? That you put a couple flags down in Boston in the past.
Yes, man. I've been down there, man. I enjoy Boston, man. There's no doubt. It's different. I've been there for real estate conferences. I've been there to do some consulting work on people that were acquiring real estate of their own homes and stuff down there in Boston. So I'm kind of familiar with the market and the way that their process works. So that's pretty dope, man. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Oh,
man.
it's crazy. Just listening to Judy talk. It's funny how I always feel like the network marketing bug builds a muscle inside of you that allows
Ah,
you to not take no as a walk away, right? Like
right.
that's great that she mentioned that. And I always tell people, man, it builds a muscle inside of you, man, that you can go into entrepreneurship with a different type of mindset and aggressiveness that most people don't come in contact with. So that's what's up, man.
No, and like I said before, one of the great things about doing this show with you is that business owners and entrepreneurs like Judy, her clients get to see some aspects of her career that they may not have known about. And once again, I agree with you. That network marketing experience, it toughens you up a little bit.
It does.
From
It
a
toughens you up.
sales and a promotion standpoint as far as putting yourself out there, man. So
Yep.
great job, man. I want to thank Judy again, brother. Anything going on this weekend in the world of the Texas Real Estate King that you'd like to share with the audience?
Man, all I want to tell the audience is, man, we appreciate y'all. Continue to like, share, subscribe. Visit some of the links in our bio. We'll be changing those up pretty soon. So go ahead and visit some of the links in our bio. Purchase some merch. It helps the channel. It helps us to bring on more amazing guests. And so, man, I'm just excited. I'll be here in the city, man. Nothing special at all.
Hey, man, look, thank you so much. On behalf of myself, Ric Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, we urge everyone, if you need anything, text, email, DM, or just straight up call, because we're here for you all day, 24/7, 365. And until next week, everyone in the audience, please be safe and be blessed.
Be blessed.